What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. So today we will be taking a look at my favorite genus of colubrid snakes and the guys that are photobombing all of my videos here on the channel, and that is Spilotes, so the tiger rat snakes and the Amazon puffing snakes. They are one of the largest genuses as far as physical size of the snakes goes of colubrids in the world. In my opinion, one of the most intelligent and engaging, and of course, some of the most beautiful colubrids in the entire world. They're super variable, even though the genus only consists of a few species. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys my Spilotes collection. All right, couldn't think of a better snake to start this video off with than this guy right here. This is my male Guyana tiger rat snake, Spilotes pilatus. This is the first ever Spilotes I got, so I've had him since back in 2017, and ever since then, my obsession with this genus has been very strong. What's really cool about this guy, when I got him, he was a pretty vibrant yellow color, and then over time, his color has changed, and now he has this kind of like ivory appearance to him. Not 100% sure why, but I'm not complaining either way because this is a really, really cool look. He's an absolute beast of a snake too. He's probably the better part of 9 feet long, really lean, slender, muscular animal, and really good demeanor as well. He always has been really calm. As you'll see throughout this video, Spilotes in general, I feel like, are pretty chill snakes. They're fairly cage defensive, but as soon as they're outside of that little territory of theirs, this is how they really act almost entirely. So yeah, definitely the right one to start off with, in my opinion, and really, really special animal. And this is my female Guyana tiger rat snake. So like the male, the pattern starts off yellow at the top and then fades in to the solid black tail. I really like the Mexicanus, but I also really like this look where they have the kind of like wider separated bands up at the top fading to the black tail. What's so cool about the Spilotes genus and then the pilatus species complex in particular is just how much they vary and how much their phenotype changes throughout their range. The Mexicanus types are usually the ones that are more sought after, but I think there really is a place for these pilatus animals as well. They really are absolutely incredible. The really dark appearance of them, to me, is super, super nice. And I really hope to be able to breed this pair as well, like all of them. But to be able to see some little baby pilatus, considering these were the first Spilotes that I got, would be really special. All right, so this is my female Veraracruz tiger rat snake. For anyone who saw the video that I put up a few months ago of the clutch that these guys have, you remember this girl right here. This is the mom. So what's cool about these compared to the ones you just saw, these are the Spilotes pilatus mexicanus, Mexican tiger rat snakes, where they have much more color and pattern throughout the body. And as you go further north in their range in Mexico, you get a little bit more of a vibrancy to the yellow, and then even up into the Tomalipin region where you get really high oranges on the tiger rat snakes. But these guys are in the part of the range where they are really vibrant yellow like this. Really a look that I highly covet, and many other people do as well. They're truly spectacular snakes, and her babies are absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to show you guys the babies again in a minute, but for now we're looking at this girl right here. She is absolutely amazing. All right, and then this is the male Veracruz tiger rat snake. He is an absolute beast of a snake, probably similar size to that pilatus we looked at earlier, 8-9 feet long and really, really solid. What's super cool about Spilotes, amongst a lot of other things, is their sexual dimorphism. Males and females, once they reach close to an adult size, have some pretty significant physical differences. One of the primary ones being their head structure. Males have much larger, more robust heads than females. And then the second is in their keeled scales. So Spilotes, for a majority of their body, have a pretty pronounced keeled scale. And males in general, for at least what I have found, have much more pronounced keeled scales than females do. So between the head shape and size difference and the keeled scales, some pretty significant sexual dimorphism on them, which makes telling them apart pretty easy when they're together, because sometimes their color and pattern can really blend together when they're sitting together in their enclosures. So being able to use those differences to tell them apart is very nice. All right, so just quickly showing you guys an update on the holdback pair of Veracruz tiger rat snakes that I produced earlier this year. This here is the male, putting on some pretty significant size and keeping a lot of that orange and white coloration so far, which I'm pretty happy about. Hopefully a good amount of that stays into adulthood. These two are spectacular. And here is the female holdback. She was without a doubt the standout individual in the clutch. The highest orange, highest white, just the nicest looking animal. Picking out the male was really easy for me, considering he was the only male in the clutch. She wasn't necessarily an easy pick. All of them were really spectacular, but just kind of one step ahead of all the rest. And a few sheds in, still has essentially all of the orange coloration that she was born with, still that really cool orange highlighting on her head. She is really spectacular, and I really am excited to be raising up this pair. This is my female Tomalipin Honduran cross tiger rat snake. This girl here was produced by Jason Hood, and it's a really, really cool locality cross. Two of the most uncommon locality types of tiger rat snake in the hobby. The Tamaulipas animals are known for being probably the most beautiful tiger rat snakes, and their demand definitely reflects that. They have really cool, tight patterning, high orange, high white. They really are spectacular animals that I'd love to have the pure form in my collection one day, but I'm also very lucky to be able to have some of these animals. One thing that's really cool about this individual and the male that I'm about to show you of the same cross is that they've retained a good amount of orange coloration into adulthood. Some Spilotes are born pretty high orange as babies, the Central American Mexicanus types, but they will lose some of that color as they grow into adulthood and become more of a black and yellow snake, which is definitely not a bad thing. But to have some of that orange still present in this female is really, really special. I'm very glad that she did retain some of that into adulthood. She's not quite full grown yet. I would say by next year she'll be part of my breeding rotation, but for now, putting a little bit more size on her just so she is at maximum health before breeding. But I cannot wait to attempt to get babies from this girl, as I know they will be absolutely phenomenal. All right, and now this is my male Tamaulipas Honduran cross tiger rat snake, also produced by Jason Hood, of course, and a year older than the female who you guys just saw. A lot of similarities between the two, especially when it comes to that orange coloration. This guy has retained as well. He is pretty much full grown. I mean, he will get a little bit larger inevitably, but this is kind of what you're looking at as far as an adult tiger rat snake goes. My plan with these two is to breed them together and produce kind of like a second generation of the 50-50 cross. I think with a lot of reptiles in general, where there's a locality cross or a subspecies hybrid or whatever it may be, breeding a 50-50 to a 50-50 always creates a really cool outcome. I also think that, eventually making a 75% Tamaulipas, 25% Honduran would be a really cool route to go as well. But at first, that is my plan, and I'm excited to give that a shot next year. All right, this is my male Yucatan tiger rat snake. So another locality within Mexico. These guys are obviously from further east of the Veraracruz animals, and there's some differences between them, kind of according to the locality difference. The main one in the color, as you guys saw in the Veracruz animals, kind of more of a rich yellow, almost a little bit more to the orange side, where these guys are a little bit more of a pale yellow. You'll see that especially in the female in the next clip. But it kind of makes sense if you look at the map geographically of these guys. The further north and west they get in the range, up towards Tamaulipas, they get more orange. And then the further east they get into Nicaragua and Costa Rica, they become a bit paler yellow. And then further down into South America, you have some individuals, while there are some yellow individuals, very high yellow in South America, higher black, and then some like my pair of Guyana, as you saw, that have almost like an ivory kind of coloration to them. So these guys are kind of that right in the middle where they have a little bit more of a pale yellow coloration, but still really high pattern like the rest of the Mexican animals. All right, now this is my female Yucatan tiger rat snake. And what's really amazing about her, not only this really cool kind of pale yellow coloration, but there's almost more yellow on her body than there is black, which is a look that you see in very few individual tiger rat snakes. The male is pretty even 50-50, I would say, even though he's absolutely stunning. Probably a little bit more on the yellow side than black, but with her, it's very much throughout the entire body. A lot of partial black and yellow scales as well, which is super cool. Obviously, really good demeanor on her as well. The Yucatan individuals are really cool, like I was just saying, about how they're kind of an in-between of some of the more high yellow, high orange Mexican individuals from further west in Mexico, and then kind of nicer, higher yellow, more pattern than the animals that are further east in the range. This guy right here, this is my male Amazon puffing snake, or Spilotes sulphureus. Definitely a very physically different snake than the tiger rat snakes. These guys range further south of them in kind of the Amazon basin areas of Brazil, Venezuela, Peru, etc. So kind of the southernmost of what's currently recognized as the Spilotes genus. And really incredible species for lots of different reasons. Based on the metrics you decide to look at, potentially the largest colubrid species in the world. This is essentially a small adult right here. They'll get significantly larger as they grow. But reports of this species reaching 12, 13 feet long are not uncommon. And they have really big heads when they're full grown. Very impressive. Definitely up there for the largest colubrids in the world with the giant keeled rat snake or the yellow-tailed cribo. But really just, they speak for themselves with how incredible they are. They haven't been doing it during the video here because these guys are frankly pretty well behaved. But the entire Spilotes genus exhibit a really cool kind of neck puffing defensive response. And these guys do it a bit differently than the Pilatus mexicanus do, where theirs is a little bit more of a kind of a vertical elevation of their body. These guys puff out from their throat to the point where, if you didn't know any better, you might think the snake has a pretty bad respiratory infection, but that's how they do it. That's their defensive response. It's pretty cool in their enclosures during the day. If there's ever a lot of commotion around them, sometimes they will start doing that throat puffing defensive response to the movement around. So for that and a lot of other reasons, they make absolutely incredible display snakes. Like the rest of the Spilotes do, they cohabitate really, really well together. My pair, now that they're adults and are together, are year-round cohabitated, which makes that display all the much more fun. All right, and finishing off with a bang, this is my female Amazon puffing snake, and she is just spectacular. Really high contrast, kind of an orange-yellow, and really deep, solid black. These guys are really, really incredible. Definitely very different than the Pilatus and mexicanus. The head structures, as you guys can see, are nothing alike. And there's a lot of variability within this species right here, as their range is pretty wide, east to west in South America. You have ones like this that have dark black with highlighter yellow. You have ones that are kind of like a pale olive green color, red and black ones in Brazil. Lots of really, really cool phenotypes of this species. Unfortunately, based on export restrictions in countries like Brazil and Peru, we don't have quite as many of these represented in the hobby as far as localities go, as kind of we would like to. But with that said, there are a decent amount of people doing a lot of really good work with this species so that the future of them in the hobby will be preserved. I know that for a fact. And, as with all of these, like I've been saying, it'll be a dream come true one day if I can get babies from this pairing. All right, everybody, thank you for checking out that video. If you liked it, please subscribe here on the YouTube channel. I drop a new video every single Friday. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram at Scrub Shepherd, Stephen Cush on Facebook, and Cush Reptile on Morph Market. I also host a podcast every Wednesday night called Cush's Corner on the Trap Talk Reptile Network, and that is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll catch you all back here next week for a new one.